He's been on my page several times. He's an authority when it comes to anything financial. Very trusted gentleman by the name of Shadrach Lusambo. He's even written a book about debt and financial management. You should get that book. So he called me up and he said, you know, I noticed you did a live broadcast yesterday about Matero's page. Can I tell you that the truth is nobody reported Bamatero's page. There are several things that contributed to Bamatero's page being pulled down. And so he proceeded to tell me that, you see, on Facebook, and I mentioned to him, I said, you know, after him telling me this, I said to him, this is the reason it's important for Facebook content, TikTok creators, YouTube creators in Zambia. We should have a convention. We should have some type of annual convention that deals with this topic on how to manage our Facebook pages, our social media content. Shadrach Lusambo pointed out to me quite clearly, he said, well, Bamatero, he has got it wrong. Nobody reported his page. The issue there was, number one, his style of content is that he plays music in the background of his content. You know, Bamato does not speak. Typically, he doesn't speak. He's like a Mr. Bean, our version of Mr. Bean. But his videos contain copyrighted music. It's not copywritten, it's copyrighted. Okay, get it right. His videos, number one, they contain copyrighted music. That is against the community guidelines of Facebook. If you're going to post background music, especially if your video is viral, the algorithm recognizes that as you breaking community guidelines. The algorithm is not biased. It's not. It doesn't have a grudge against you. It's an AI response to your content. Do you understand that? So the algorithm picks up that you are distributing content against the backdrop of someone else's music, and there's no caption that says you own no rights to this music. There's no disclaimer, there's no clarity, you just post the music, number one. Number two, the nature of Bamatero's content is oftentimes not described as humor, a skit, content. The algorithm sort of surmises that Bamatero's content is teaching young people how to steal, how to be dishonest, that's what it recognizes. If you don't clarify your content, if you don't caption your content, if you don't describe the nature of your content and say, this is art imitating life. It is not life imitating art. You have to be very specific. Otherwise, the algorithm will think that you are trying to corrupt young people's minds into thinking that stealing and robbing and doing this and that is your forte. That's your type of content. And the algorithm thinks you're trying to teach young people how to steal. Now, you remember, and this is very important for you to understand, you remember when Bamatero first came on the scene, and I briefly alluded to this yesterday, and I'll say it again now. You remember in the beginning when Bamatero first came on the scene, he would literally walk into a shop, let's say for instance, ShopRite or Pick and Pay, just as an example. He would walk into a shop, go to the biscuit section, open a packet of biscuits, and he would eat the biscuits, and then he would sort of walk out, giving off the impression that he has stolen those biscuits. And on a couple of occasions, You remember? He was arrested. It became a police case. It took Bamatero, he went through great pains to explain that no, I'm not actually stealing. This is just my brand of content. You remember Miles Sampa even made reference to Bamatero and said, at first I didn't understand what he was doing. But after watching his content, it became apparent that this was parody. In English, they call it parody. It's like a skit. It's just, it's for entertainment purposes. The algorithm doesn't always think that way. The algorithm doesn't always see it that way. It simply interprets what it is seeing. Do you understand? The AI is responding to your content. So it's very important as content creators to define our style of content. It's important to describe in great detail, this is entertainment. This is a skit. This is a gag. This is not real. If you use other people's music, you need to credit, or you need to, you need to say, this is not my work. The algorithm disdains anyone that tries to take credit for someone else's work. You can't just use people's music. And Bamatero has used many different types of music, local music, international music, as a backdrop. To you and I, we just laugh. It's funny, because it is. I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, I love Bamatero. I think he's hilarious. But the algorithm doesn't. The algorithm thinks you're a crook. The algorithm thinks you're taking credit where it doesn't belong. The algorithm thinks you're not giving credit to whom it belongs. So they shut you down. Now, here's the great thing about Facebook, is that you can reach out to Meta South Africa, and they can guide you on how to retrieve your page. Not all is lost. With a following like 1.5 million people, that is huge. To lose 1.5 million people, because essentially that is a revenue stream that is literally gone. And I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again. These pages that we run on social media, they literally provide us with a livelihood. I mean, they do. It is incredible how much money we could potentially make, and we do make, as a content creator community from these pages. And the currency is a huge audience. That is our collateral. That is that's our leverage, is our audience. The moment you take away the audience, you take away the money. A person who has 1.5 million followers is worth, monetarily, is worth much more than a person that has 60,000 followers on Facebook. I mean, 1.5 is colossal, mate. And to get to 1.5, that is not for the faint of heart. So I feel Bamatero's pain. And it's easy to assume that, no, people are reporting me, I'm jealous. And yes, in some cases, that may be true. But the core truth is that when you and I, because these rules apply to all of us, when you and I break the community guidelines, we suffer the consequences. If you call someone ugly on Facebook and you've got a huge following, the algorithm recognizes that as hate speech and they'll flag you. You can lose your page. So the answer, the solution to Bamatero's issue is he needs to get in touch with Meta South Africa. The first thing you do, though, is that you have to verify your personal page, not your business page. You can verify your business page later if you wish, but initially, you first of all verify your personal page, because you have a personal page first before you have a business page. Your name and your credentials and blah, 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 blah. So you verify that first, then reach out to Meta South Africa. They give you an appointment. not physically. You don't have to physically go to SA. Virtually, online. And then they'll walk you through it. They'll guide you through it, and they will give you concrete reasons why you are where you are. But I will tell you, not all is lost. He can get that page back, but you have to fight for it. You just have to fight for it. Starting over, and this is the reason his second page was also closed, because he was still doing the same thing. Using music, copyrighted music, presenting this idea that he was a thief, when it's really just entertainment, without describing what he's doing, without being abundantly clear in the caption above. That this is parody, this is comedy, this is a skit, this is not real. Apparently that's how it works. That's the name of the game. Okay? All right. I thought I'd share that with you. Lastly, given Lubinda, do you know who would be elected as president of the PF if, in fact, the Patriotic Front went for a convention? I will answer that in a few minutes. Before I do, let me first of all deal with the kerfuffle. In Zambia, we say kafwafwa. In English, it's kerfuffle. The kerfuffle that took place in Kabwe. Now, information has now come out that the UPND's higher echelons of leadership have, in a sense, denied that this guy, Kelvin Mwangala, you remember Kelvin Mwangala was a guy that claimed to be an acting UPND chairman of that community there in Kabwe. He went on, he rushed to the media in his mind, in his daft, dwanzy, tepid mind. He thought he was doing the right thing. Because you see, this is the thing with Kadas. Kadas are dumber than boxes of hammers. I mean, these guys are D-U-M-B. Dumb. They are the quintessential personification of the word dumb. They commit a crime and they rush to the media and they describe why they committed that crime, thinking because they say they belong to the ruling party, the crime will be overlooked. I mean, this is how dumb these chaps are. Dollar. Anyway, the guy rushes to social media and says, no, actually, the reason why Given Lubinda was ejected was because we saw that he didn't have a permit. So because he didn't have a permit, we swung into action. As a youth, we were provoked. So apa, Shaoneka Monga, we are showing to the party that we are loyal. And we are, the same people who claim to be custodians of the law are the same people when they went into that lodge, destabilized private property. The same group harassed people, the same boys who are saying, no, if we are custodians of the law, and given he did not have a permit, so because he didn't have a permit, we went there to show him kuti iwe, wabwera kuno wabwera nso, permit iri kuti iwe. Otherwise tizakuchita kuipa iwe, permit iri kuti. And yet the same boys were harassing people. The same boys were stealing phones. Dalo. The same chap. Now, what is interesting to me, do you know that had Kelvin Mwangala not made that video where he proudly claimed that, no, we did it, we removed him, I'm the acting chairperson for this area and under UPND. Had he not made that statement, do you know that the conspiracy theory of this being an inter-party affair would have gained traction? Do you understand that? Tell me if you understand that, what I've just said. Let me say it again. Had Kelvin Mwangala kept quiet, had Kelvin Mwangala not appeared on social media, taking full responsibility for that barbaric act there at the lodge in Kabwe, had he not done that, do you know that the conspiracy theory of that attack on Given Lubinda being an inter-party conflict. Sorry, not inter-party, an internal party conflict. That theory would have gained traction. It would have grown legs. But that chap dispelled it. He dispelled that theory by coming out on video and just saying, no, tunamutenga. We took him. Permit. That's how down these chaps are. So, now let me explain to you what Given Lubinda was doing there. This is very important. This is juicy. Ooh, I can't wait to share this. You know how sometimes you know you've got a nugget that when you share it, people are going to go, oh, are you serious? Tell me more. And leave out nothing. That sounds so gossipy, though. That's giving gossip vibes. But that's fine. That's okay. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with gossiping every once in a while. Honestly, really. Let's drink to that. So here's the thing. Do you know why Given Lubinda was at that lodge? Tell me why do you know why he was there? Do you have any idea? I'll tell you. Before I tell you why he was there, let me tell you who would win a PF convention if in fact a convention was to take place. Do you know who would win that convention? With all those players who have paid, I'm at 200,000 kwacha, those chaps. There's Mao Sampa, who led the charge. He was the first one to go and pay 200,000 kwacha ku secretariat. Nixon Chilangwa was the one who receiving that money. And he took 200,000 kwacha cash. Mao Sampa called the secretariat, Kuti, Rane, na isoko, ndefo chita transfer 200,000 kwacha. Which account should I use? Abele Nixon Chilango barika nati iwe transfer kwisa walipena leta cash kuno ifo tulefo muzulu tulefo chapa. We need the budang. Tulefo kumona. If you have transfer na POP tatufishibe. Come here with 200,000 kwacha cash. Mao Sampa lefika pa secretariat pale. Aba pele mpia 200,000 kwacha. Lekeni ba Nixon Chilango bambo kupeme na pa zero. Walemina na mate balifia. Lekeni nomba bashipende nombesho. Leti bashipenda. Diaba pusho kupenda. Mouse assign ama documents. Then Mouse left mapofie. The moment Mouse left, there's Nixon Chilangwa pa phone. Iwe Mouse na leta kuno 200 pin. No magata wa send 15 minutes wala sanga pye na shipofie. Chance. Lekeni nomba ba PF ba sampe mpiyesho. Ali shisampa. Uyasenda ko yasenda hey we imani omwamba nao ayatwala ba GBM nao ayatwala Nixon aisa punda kunuma kuleti twali again wengana PF tabanga sha ni basikere mbali aba mambala bali those mambalers. Anyway, I digress. Do you know why Given Lubinda was in Kabwe? And before I tell you that, do you know who would win the PF convention if they were to hold a convention? Are you ready? Drum roll. The person that would win the PF convention right now as it stands, if indeed a convention were to be held, and I'll deal with that later. But the person that would win the PF convention, if the convention were to be held today, would be Given Lubinda. Yes. Do you know why? It's very simple. It is the vice president, it is the acting president of the party that selects the delegates from each province that comprise the Electoral College. The Electoral College is the one that votes in The party president. Who is in control of selecting the delegates? It's the acting president. Who is the acting president? It's Given Lubinda. If Given Lubinda were to organize a convention today, he simply galvanizes chaps who would vote for him. Simple. Eh? But politics is dirty age. That's what we say, that politics is dirty. This is it. I mean, this is there. When Edgar Lungu was running for president, there were many players. Mao Zisampa was the one who was supposed to win the presidency. Why? Because Guy Scott at the time was the one pulling the reins. But it was because Edgar Lungu employed the services of these PF cadres, namely Kalimanshi and company. You remember, Abena, City Market, Intercity, PF, they're the ones who controlled who went to that convention. And they beat up anyone who tried to oppose Edgar Lungu. Harry Kalaba was almost killed. Do you know that? We shall share your story. You know, in those days, this is 2014, 2015. In those days, there was nothing like every person with a camera, with a phone. Now things have changed. Now everything you do is on. There are people. In those days, they didn't allow that. The only way to the convention, Abena Kalimanshi had completely cordoned off the whole area, sealed it. They wanted to make sure that the sole candidate that would emerge victorious and triumphant was Edgar Lungu. Imingalato. Imingalato bane. You think ECL's ascent to the presidency was on a level playing field? It was led by gangsters. ECL owed his presidency to innocent Kalimanshi and the company. Hari Kalaba was almost killed. But therefore, Mao Zisampa was almost victimized. I mean, this is the way it is. This is what it is. So, to answer the question, who would win the PF convention if, all things being equal, if the PF actually went to a convention, it would be Given Lubinda. Given Lubinda is the one. He has the upper hand. He's the one who can select delegates. Delegates who comprise the electoral college, who go there and vote at the convention. And prior to the voting, it is the acting president who has a one-on-one with the leader of each delegation. So, my name, just vote for us. I got drink. Next. You okay. Now you today. You know what to do? All right. Aka mutwaka. Mpakafe convention. They vote. You remember when Edgar Lungu was announced winner? Who opposed Edgar Lungu? There was no opposition. There was no opposing. Innocent Kalimanshi and his boys had beat and literally blocked off that whole area. Anyone who was even thinking of challenging Edgar Lungu. I remember Harry Kalaba, there was an ambassador, I forget the ambassador. The ambassador to, I think he was an ambassador to Nigeria. I stand to be corrected. I think it was the ambassador. He was challenging Edgar Lungu. Harry Kalaba called that man and said, if you are seen to be opposing Edgar Lungu, those PF cadres Kalimanshi taba kupanye bala kuipayo kokwinoko bala kukokota nenstayala shalako ine kunona abampuma bushena abanchita bwino choka kokowe ema politics ya Zambia. You remember when Edgar Lungu was announced as president? Is there anyone else in here who is going to challenge Edgar? Huh? No one. Okay, in that case, the sole candidate is Edgar. Oh, bossy. Ulali. Hey. Kawawawa. Whoa. That's how we lost the farm. Anyway, now the question is PF going to hold a convention? Before you answer that question, you must ask another question. Because there is a question, as we say in Zambia, we say question. There is a question before the question. The question before the question is, first of all, the question is PF going to hold a convention? But you can't answer that question without first asking another question. How are you going to hold a convention when Chabinga is the president of PF? I mean, how? If elections were to be held now, if tripartite elections were to be held today, whose name and face would appear on the ballot of the PF? Legally, from a legal point of view. I'm not talking about grassroots support. Yes, we know Chabinga does not have the PF grassroots support. That is Mingalato. Chabinga does not have the support, the grassroots support of the PF. That one is a given, we know. Those are just Mingalatos. But from a legal point of view, if elections were to be held today, whose face would be on the ballot? Would it be Given Lubinda? Wala. Would it be Emmanuel Mwamba? Wala bwana. Would it be Mauzi Sampa? Could it be? It would be Chabinga. Like him, love him, loathe him, or discard him. That is the chap that would be on that ballot box if elections were to be held today, in the now. But when you hear that politics is dead age, I mean, this is there. This is there. Zambian politics. It's not for the faint of heart. Let me just make one reference to Makebi Zulu. It is in the interest of Makebi Zulu to destabilize Given Lubinda. Makebi Zulu knows that left to his own devices, Given Lubinda would be the one nominated as PF party president, all things being equal. It is Given Lubinda that would be, not even Mundubile. Mundubile is nowhere near the presidency of the party. You know why? Mingalato. Mundubila is working in the background with the, say it's in the comments. In social media, but the truth is, that's the truth. The reason Mundubile cannot be elected as president of the PF party is because he's eating with the. So the PF grassroots, they know that. The only true legitimate candidate who can emerge triumphant is Given Lubinda, because he is the acting president of that party and he's the one who selects the delegates that comprise the electoral college that votes for the party president. Mulangana na politics ala kuti wapena basanga fiela uya nempanga tiele kuionaya ngere kui napena chinshi ma politics ever chilivane. That's how it is. Like it, leave it, love it, do whatever. It is the way that it is. This, my brothers and sisters, boys and girls, is the correct analysis of this situation. And if you don't look at it in that way, you'll be misled. Misled! I gotta go. I have been given an award tonight. I'm going to an award ceremony tonight. I'll bring that to you tonight. So apanga na fuma pano ndea kulondri mukupoke itoroshi ai jacket is londad no mbantwani itoroshi nali twala mailo ati yo mukese mailo meaning lelo no manga takuli malaiti na ala afika ati na isa mukupoke amatoroshi baranje bati yo takwali ya malaiti mailo ngana yakuwa award ceremony kulia I'll go with itoroshi kwa buloku chiswa lekeni tusebane nomba twala kisa sebanix. All right, I'm gonna go. Love you guys. Bye.